Ramadan reminds Muslims and us all to uphold the importance of community, and community requires engagement. I learned this firsthand when I lived 3 years in Cairo at the end of the 1990s. Here, food was shared with neighbors, charity given, subject to means, whether a smile to a stranger or cash to those in need. This is indeed a time for dialogue at all levels. Dialogue must be central to our civilization. Community and dialogue are central to ICESCO through its great work and projects, and it's always good to be reminded of the power of collective action. So a big thank you to ICESCO for its energy and effectiveness. I'm privileged to be associated. But why then is civilizational dialogue so critically important? This is the first Ramadan in 2 years that in so many places where families and friends can be together in person. But this year also, we're saddened by the absence of those taken by the virus. For many this year, iftar meals will be more humble as cost of living crisis takes its toll, with so many families living on the edge. But through fasting, time is created for spirituality, for introspection, for generosity, and for discipline, and all are given time and space to blossom. Hopefully, this introspection will create stronger feelings of togetherness and work to reduce our contemporary obsession with self. Over the past 2 years, in what I call moments of the pandemic, here in the UK, we did see glimpses of community. We applauded our health workers on our doorsteps and had dialogue with the people that we previously avoided. Another moment has been our reaching out together to those traumatized by war, a palpable combination of horror and of generosity. Ramadan falls this year during a period of great uncertainty and risk, a time of serious climate challenge for all, and the misery of poverty and violent conflict for too many. And humanity faces existential threat if we're unable to significantly change the ways in which our civilization behaves towards each other and, importantly, towards our planet and our ecosystem. My current research on leadership is asking a set of tricky questions, particularly about how we decide to act as individuals or together, whether at local, national, or global levels. Leadership matters, and we need to understand it better. And leadership requires working together, collectively, and using dialogue. Ambitiously, my research is asking for a simple answer to a complex question about what leadership concepts and methods can guide us in achieving peaceful relations in this evolving context, and how to foster a sense of strong, resilient community, both now and in the future, and not just for some in a period of fasting and introspection during Ramadan. We must think again about the complexity of context. I'm very grateful to my good friend, Professor Cedric de Coney from Norway, for helping me think this through. Complexity tells us that the uncertain and the unpredictable are not the result simply of insufficient knowledge or inadequate planning or implementation. They are rather a telltale characteristic of complex adaptive systems. This describes our world. Our world is a complex adaptive system in which it's impossible to predetermine what kind of relationships generate positive and sustainable peace in a specific context, nor is it possible to pre-plan a series of steps that can lead to such social arrangements. This is why civilizational dialogue within and between parties is so crucial. In our study of leadership, we're looking at how to call adaptive actions at very local levels and how these adaptive actions can help leaders deal with the uncertainty and unpredictability and help make a positive difference. The use of adaptiveness by leaderships doesn't mean that expert or scientific knowledge is not important, but it tells us to think more of the distinction between evidence and action. Evidence-based knowledge on the one hand, and how to act on it in specific contexts on another. Take the example of COVID-19. Science tells us that you can prevent its spread by avoiding close contact, by better social distancing. But how to achieve that in a densely populated slum community is something you can only find out through adapted practice and learning, through dialogue with that community. The full agency of the people involved is thus critical for the emergence and sustainability of any desired outcome. During this month, many will take time to examine how they can strive for personal and communal change, how they can be better. And in our increasingly hostile, polarized, and unjust world, we actually need that for the other 11 months as well. Many of us look to ICESCO to lead that charge.